Hello, welcome to my new video. This is Ansjevis, and this video we're going to do something exciting, and I'll challenge you to do the same. We're going to make one art piece with all of my blue art supplies. So the rule is that you collect all of your different blues from all of your different art supplies. Well, for me that means pencils, markers, crayons, paint, watercolor paint, and gouache. So now I am putting these different neo colors on this tin that I got at thrift store, and also some soft pastels that I really enjoyed using. Next, oil pastels, and last but not least, some woody 3-in-1 by Stabilo thick pencils. If you want to see a video about these, I'll leave it on the top of this video. So here you can see my watercolor palette, and I'm showing you the swatches of the blues that I'm going to count as blues for this piece. Next, I'm grabbing my leftover watercolor tin, and I'm pulling out all of the blues that I think are blue enough for this video. So here you can see my travel, I don't know what this is called. It's like a sock for my pencils. I got this one handmade, a lady made it, so I got it online and I really love it. And I'm grabbing all of my favorite pencils because all of my favorite art supplies are snug in this sock. So here you can see the overview of all of the different art supplies that I will use for this piece. Now it's time to start swatching, and I'm just grabbing all of the art supplies that I have selected and I'm putting them down in this Art Creation A4 sketchbook. It's my favorite sketchbook. You can see it in my favorite art supplies video if you'd like. Yeah, I'm just exploring the possibilities with the different markers, pencils, stuff like that. I really like to use texture in my work, so it really helps me to explore different textures. Here you can see my Posca pen. It's a really beautiful blue Posca pen. Next, my collection of Ecoline brush pens. These are watercolor markers, I think they're called, and I really like them to add texture, but I also like them when I don't want to get all of my watercolor supplies out of its little things, grab water, stuff like that. It can be hard to be an artist. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I like to work with them. They can create fun textures, and you have these brushes, but you also have them in little jars in glass bottles. Sorry for my English. Sometimes I just struggle a little bit with finding the right words for the things that I'm showing you. Here, moving on to pencils, all of these beautiful blues. I'm happy because I have a lot of more moody blues. I like moody colors. Oh, this beautiful. Oh, look at all of those blues. I love blue. I think blue is my favorite color. I also love green a lot and yellow. But I think if I really had to choose one color, I think it would be blue, because you just have so much variety, as you can see on this page. It's blue, but it's not like one color. There are so many colors. Oh, here is a blue sketch pencil. Oh. And when I was putting down all of these different textures, I was thinking to myself, what should I paint? What should I paint? Now, when I think of blue, one of the first things that comes to mind, now that I'm saying this out loud, I didn't brainstorm that long. It was sort of like the first idea. Maybe next time I should brainstorm a little bit longer and come up with something more out of the box, but I was thinking, what is blue? The sea, water is blue. So I decided to create a little under the sea world with fishes and plants and all sorts of textures. So here I'm grabbing that plate with the crayons, pastels, and these woody ones, and I'm putting them down on the page to explore the possibilities. And I would really highly suggest doing these kind of swatch pages instead of boring swatch pages, but it's totally up to you. And also, if you decide to also do this challenge, like the one color art piece challenge, please tag me on Instagram. Just put a post somewhere or send me a message, because I'm so curious on what you came up with. For me, it was really great exercise because I had to work with art supplies that I own but that I don't really use that much, like these soft pastels. I never really used them. I got them secondhand by a book buy. But they're really fun, and I enjoyed to work with mixed media with them. In the piece that I will make in this video, you can see how I included them in the video and how I, use them for different textures. I also really like to work with my fingers. For me, play is a really big element of the art that I make. So working with your fingers, creating stuff with your fingers in your art is a fun way to play. Talking about paint, this next page is all of my wet media, so all of my gouaches that I have selected because they are blue, and all of the watercolors. So yeah. Oh, I have to say that I included Payne's Gray as a blue because it's a very gray blue in my opinion, but maybe you say like, no, that's not a blue. But that's the fun thing about these exercises, because you can totally do it in a way that suits your style, suits your way of working, but also get out of your comfort zone. So for me, Payne's Gray is a blue, but maybe for you it isn't. That's up to you. So I swatched all of the colors, and now it's time to put down my sketch. I'm sketching with this Gohan Dash sketch pencil that is in a very bright blue, but you couldn't really see it on camera, so I edited the video. So now you can see me sketching a fish, and I just sketched out the basic shapes, and when I'm going to put down watercolor, it's actually going to be brought down to life. So I'm not sketching the eyes or any details, I'm just sketching the parts, so I know which parts I want to paint with watercolor and which parts I want to paint with different colors or leave white, because a lot of the materials that I'm using are translucent, so I need to think ahead about what parts I want to be light in this painting and what parts I want to be dark. Also, that's also one of the reasons why I think this is a great exercise if you want to maybe bring your art to the next level. Also, when I say art and artist, I think that anyone who makes art, anyone who creates things is an artist. So when I call myself an artist, I'm not a professional artist in any sense. I don't sell my artwork. I just do it as a hobby and to relax. But it helps me to call myself that. So I would also encourage you to call yourself an artist, because why not? We're all artists. We're all creators of this world. So, but another reason why I think that this is a great exercise for you artists out there is because it really pushes you to think about different hues. So you have to think of light spots and dark spots, because you're using the same color, you're using blue. You still want some parts to stand out more and some parts to stand out less. So you have to think like, what parts am I going to make dark blue? What parts am I going to make light blue? So you can really see the different parts in your painting. So here I'm putting down the mountains and I'm coloring in the fish. I put a lot of texture on this. It's not really a mountain. Do you have mountains underwater? No, you don't. But it's like a textured part that is higher than the sand in the middle. Also, blue is a great color to start this challenge with, because blue is a color that creates depth instantly. So it's easier to create, like a 3D effect in your painting when you are creating something with blue than when you're creating something with, say, yellow or even red. So if you decide to do this one color challenge, blue is a great color to start off with. And in the sketchbook you see me marking the colors that I have used. So I will keep track of everything. So I'll make sure every color that I swatched is actually being included in this piece. And here I'm starting with the little sea star. And my cat is saying hello. Hello, buddy. He's so cute. So it's important to hydrate yourself. So I took a little sip of my tea. So the leftover blues that I do have but are not shelved in my main watercolor palette, I put in this little watercolor palette. So it was easy to grab them and use them all. When I put down this blue color, I believe it's phthalo blue, I thought, no, I ruined the piece. This blue is not working with the other blues in this piece. The other blues are way more natural kind of blues, like moody, my kind of blues, and this blue, there's a reason why it's not in my palette, was so in your face, so primary blue, that I was not so happy about the way that it looked, but I could fix it because you can mix like me. So I grabbed my darker blue colors, indigo and Payne's Gray, and I worked over it, and it actually gave a really cool effect, because now the really bright blue that is on the bottom shines through the darker blue, so it created a really cool texture. And yes, I'm putting down a lot of shadow and texture, and I am playing around with the fun thing that is called watercolor. So I'm putting a lot of texture in this foreground. And now that I look at it again, and also with the end result in mind, I actually really like this, and I think I'm going to do this more often in my pieces, because I tend to use moody colors. But now that I know that you can first apply a really bright vibrant color and then tone it down, but still have that sort of lightning effect that a bright color can bring, I think I'm going to definitely use this technique again. So this is really helping me to figure out new things to have, to explore, to have fun. And the fish, the little fish on top, is painted with lunar blue. So here you can see the result of the watercolor. So now I'm done with watercolor, and I'm moving on to Incoline brush pens, and I'm just putting them all down in this fish, on this fish, and I'm making a rainbow fish with one color. Put down the eye, and I keep on sketching and sketching, and I really want to have this texture that the watercolor Ecoline brush pens can bring. I really want that to be the base of the fish. And here I'm using the indigo. Indigo is my favorite blue color, and it's also my favorite blue of the Ecoline brush pens, together with this really beautiful light sky blue color. If you are interested in the Ecoline brush pens, I think they are not light fast, so you need to be aware of that. So I finished off the fish with a texture of one Ecoline brush pen, and I made this texture. And now I am using my gouache to add the last elements when it comes to paint in this piece. Gouache is really fun to work with in combination with watercolor. Watercolor is translucent, but gouache is opaque, so it means that you can build on the colors that you have on the page, and it also means that you can work from dark to light. which is impossible with watercolor. You have to work from light to dark. Now it is time for the fun stuff, which is making marks. And it's just grabbing all of these different supplies that I've laid out in front of me and working their way into this piece. And this is some plants in the water, and I'm using this Tombow brush and some pencils. I'm just creating shadows and shapes and textures, and it's just layer over layer over layer, and I really like this part. I like to just build texture over texture over texture. So here I'm just adding the illusion of another plant, which is basically just scribbling some texture on the page. And I'm putting down some soft pastels. Moving on to the fish. This fish also needs a lot of texture in my opinion. It first of all needs an eye. And now I'm just going over it with pencil, and next I'm grabbing my neo colors and I'm just creating a lot of texture, because also a tip for you, fish are so fun to paint because you have so much variety and there's not one way to do it. You can do it in a million ways with all sort of textures and shapes and lines, and it's just so fun to create fish. So if you don't want to do the blue or one color challenge, create a fish in one color, also fun. Or create a fish in a lot of colors. It's just about having fun, exploring. But for me, when I'm stuck and I don't know what to paint, painting a fish, creating a fish always helps me to get it out of my system and to have fun again with creating art. Oh yeah, this Posca plant in the water sadly didn't caught on camera, but Posca is also really fun to include in your pieces because you can, just like wash, put it on top of everything, and it's opaque, so it's not translucent, but it's opaque. And I'm creating texture on top of this Posca pen that I've put down. Look at my beautiful dirty hand. It's just the way I make art. I make a mess. Here I'm putting down those soft pastels again. I also put down some oil pastels, and I'm just layering the hell out of this piece. I want the blue colors to be shared all over the place. I decided that the background is really simple. Then in the middle I want it to be lighter but still have some texture, so it's not super cutting the eye, but still it has some texture and pops of different blues shattered around the middle, and then the foreground is where the fun party is happening. So the foreground is very messy, a lot of texture, a lot of colors, a lot of layers. So yeah, the background is very simple. You can't really see it in this shot, but I really wanted to keep it simple so your eyes have some place to rest. But I thought that the foreground had beautiful textures, and also the background, like in the middle, I had enough going on, but the sand in between those two don't know what it is called, like sand. In Dutch we say heuvels. It's not a mountain, but it's like a little bit higher than the sea level ground. But in the middle I also wanted some texture and some interest, so it would flow more together and it would be more understanding for the eye that the part left and right from the fish was connected to each other. So that's why I decided to add a little bit more texture in that space, so you can read it more like this is one shape, this is one shape, this is one shape. So I'm putting down the last marks of this piece and then I'm done. I had so much fun making this video and making this piece. I like the result. I think it has a lot of texture and interest, even though I only used one color, blue. I would really recommend you do this as well. If you'd like, it's really fun, it's pushing you out of your comfort zone, it's making you work mixed media. I always use mixed media, so that's not really new for me, but still it was really fun to only use one color and I like the result. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!